welcome back to Let's Vibe podcast hosted by Vibe with Aid. In today's episode, we're celebrating episode 10 with my first guest ever. I am so excited to have Emma Kapotes on today's episode, and today we're getting a little spiritual, and we're going to be talking about our shared love of astrology and spiritual messages from the universe. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. How are we doing? I am caffeinated. I'm feeling good. Today is Easter. Happy Easter. Today is Monday for you guys listening, but it's Easter for me right now. I hope you guys have had a good weekend and you guys are getting ready for another week in this crazy time that we're living in. I'm feeling so good today, and I'm so excited that we hit episode 10. It's so crazy to me. I really wanted to launch this podcast this year. That was my goal. And to be at episode 10 is just so surreal. And, that really means I'm in this. I'm really a podcaster now, I feel like. And I'm so happy to have you here. So thank you so much for checking out today's episode. It's crazy. We've been doing this for 10 episodes. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far as much as I have loved creating it. Make sure that you tag me on Instagram wherever you're listening from today, as well as if you're on Apple Podcasts, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. And if you aren't, be sure to share this with a friend today. That helps me grow the Vibe Tribe and grow this audience. So feel free to send this on over to a friend, especially your friends that love astrology, because we are going in today on astrology, and I'm really excited about it. And if you guys happen to have any feedback, questions, topic ideas, or guests you want me to have on the show, be sure to email letsvibepodcast@vibewithaid.com. And as always, as we're kicking off today's episode, we're going to do a little vibe check and check in with you guys. If you guys are new to my podcast, I always do a vibe check to check in with y'all, and so that y'all can check in with yourselves as well. So get cozy, get comfy, grab some water, grab a snack, whatever you need, and let's get into it. What we'll do is we will take 3 deep breaths, and I'll ask a couple of questions, and then I will ask those questions basically to myself, and I will answer them just to check in with you guys about what's been going on in my life. We get a little personal and all that jazz. So let's take 3 deep breaths. So inhale it in and back out. Inhale and exhale it back out. Inhale again and exhale it out. So, how am I feeling today? Do I like this feeling? What could make today better? What could I affirm for myself? What am I grateful for today? And I'll go ahead and answer, and you can think about yours now or as you go throughout today. I usually like to journal in the morning, so that is something that I find has really helped. So if you want to journal maybe after this or tonight or something like that, that could really help kind of settle in what you are feeling for yourself and be able to check in with yourself. Today, I'm feeling pretty good. It's Sunday. I had a really good weekend. Friday, what did I do Friday? Friday I had work, and then I did get dressed up for the live streams. I filmed some TikToks. I'm on TikTok, if you guys didn't know. It's Vibe with Aid. I've been having so much fun on TikTok. It's been just a really fun little creative thing to do. I'm not taking it seriously by any means, but it's been so fun, and I've really enjoyed it. And then yesterday, I taught myself how to mix. So if you guys don't follow me on, I think I announced it on Instagram and Twitter, I got a Pioneer DJ deck, my first ever. It was kind of a serendipitous thing that happened. I posted this beatbox TikTok of me DJing and using the beatbox as like a DJ deck or whatever. And someone was like, when is Vibe with 8 going to be on the live streams, like jokingly? And I was like, maybe this quarantine I'll learn how to finally DJ or something. And this girl responded to me on Twitter and was like, I'm selling a Pioneer deck if you're interested. So I hit up her DMs and she sold it to me for a pretty good price. And we got some speakers, we got Serato, and I set up my own little like rave station yesterday. I had my light bulb that changes colors on. I had a visual screen on YouTube up on my TV. And I had the deck set up with some speakers, and I played a 6-hour set in my own apartment. And it was just so fun getting to learn, you know, the different things about mixing and just playing around with stuff. So you guys might actually be getting a Vibe with 8 set or mix sometime in the future because it was so much fun. And yeah, that's been a really good creative outlet for me. If you guys didn't already know, I decided this past week to be taking a step back from posting as frequently to YouTube for Vibe with 8, as well as just in general with my blog and stuff. I was just feeling a little bit burnt out, and the content that I was wanting to do isn't really getting all perceived that well just because festivals are getting canceled left and right. So it's been really good to just kind of, you know, have more control of my time again and not be working all the time, and choosing when I want to work and stuff has really been impactful for me, and I've really, really enjoyed it. So it was really good to just kind of have a weekend to just do whatever, and I cleaned my apartment, and yeah, so I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling good going into the week. Last week was a little rough. It was my time of month, so my hormones were just kind of all over the place. And, you know, hearing some news about Electric Forest potentially not happening this year was also not great. So that's something we'll talk about in the future once everything is kind of settled and confirmed with that. But otherwise, I'm enjoying my Sunday. It's been a good Sunday so far. I'm filming a video that I'm really, really excited to share with you guys on Wednesday. That I think you guys will like, hopefully. And yeah, so we're doing good. What could I do to make what I'm feeling better, or is there a need to? I don't think there's a need to. Like I said, I always kind of like pile on my work days with a bunch of stuff, so I just need to kind of get through today, take one thing at a time, and kind of go from there and just enjoy my little Sunday before getting back to work on Monday. 3 things I'm grateful for today. I think it being Easter, I think number 1, I'm very grateful to be alive today. And even though it's not a typical Easter of spending it with my family, I am really grateful to be healthy and happy and feeling really good and everything. And I can still connect with my family through technology and everything like that. So I do really feel grateful to be alive today. Number 2, grateful for honoring filling up my cup. So what that means is that I've really been taking a self-care month. Like Emma Kapotes has said, she's made April her self-care month. It's also been my self-care month. I feel like I've been really making sure that I'm doing things that are filling my cup up and not overextending myself or doing a bunch of stuff for other people before I do stuff for myself. So I really have been taking care of myself, taking care of my space, doing things that make me happy, like shuffling. I've been doing a 30-day shuffle challenge. Learning how to mix has been really fun. So it's been really awesome to just kind of honor that. And if I know that I need rest, taking that rest and everything. So I am really grateful that I've been able to kind of overcome that. And finally, I'm grateful for my friends and my family. Even though I don't get to physically see a lot of them, it's been really great to just still connect with them and have friends reach out to me and me reach out to friends. And my friend Paige dropped off a little Easter gift for me this morning, which was so, so sweet. And we did it from a safe distance and everything. But that was my first time seeing her in a month. And it was so crazy that we've been doing this for a month already. But, you know, if we can get through this month, then we can kind of keep on going until this all kind of settles. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for my family. I've been able to talk to some family this morning with Easter and everything going on, and I FaceTime my parents for a little bit, so I am really grateful to have my family healthy and happy as well. And then my affirmation for today. I think my affirmation today is going to be related to I am fully present in this moment right now. Getting to mix last night, I really saw why people love it. I just completely felt the world just melt away for a moment. Just being so focused on the music and focused on, you know, the curating a vibe, learning how to mix and stuff like that. helped me really be present. And it was the most awesome thing because I just kind of forgot what was going on for a moment and got to like have my mind just take a rest. Because I'm always the type that overthinks, I overcomplicate things, I am thinking about the future too much, I worry about the past too much, and I really just need to be present and in the moment. And doing that last night really, really helped that. So my affirmation for today is I am fully present in this moment right now. So that is it for this week's vibe check. I hope this was helpful for you guys as you guys check in with yourselves and gives you a little bit of a glimpse of what's been going on in my life. We've been doing a lot better. We've been having some better days. And despite everything going on, I am really, happy with how things are going despite the circumstances. So I hope that with this vibe check, you do feel inspired today to take a little time for yourself, to check in with yourself, see how you can fill up your cup and make sure that you're not pouring from an empty cup as well. I'm going to take a quick break and then we will get into our first guest episode with Emma. While we are taking this short break, I just wanted to say that the next episode of Let's Vibe podcast, we are going to be talking about my health and fitness journey. Yes, this is something I have been wanting to talk about for so long. It has been a journey going on since 2015, 2016. And we're finally sitting down and talking about everything. And I mean everything. So if you have any questions about health and fitness journey as it pertains to me and my journey, anything like that, please email me at letsvibepodcast@vibewith8.com or shoot me a DM on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you are. But be sure to submit those questions that you guys have. It's going to be a bulky episode, but I am really excited to finally talk about this topic in hopes that it'll help some of you guys and whatnot. So be sure to email me at letsvibepodcast@vibewith8.com or shoot me a DM on Instagram or Twitter at vibewith8. All right, you guys, let's get back to today's episode. Okay, I'm so excited, you guys. Oh, I'm caffeinated. I'm ready. I'm so excited to have my first podcast guest on Let's Vibe today. I felt it was only right to have the wonderful queen, Miss Emma Kapotes, as my first guest. If you guys didn't know, I was her first guest on her podcast, Rave Culture Cast, which is a weekly podcast surrounding EDM and music festivals. She's celebrating her 1 year actually this week, so be sure to tune in to her episode on Wednesday. That'll be celebrating 1 year of Rave Culture Cast. So it's been so awesome to watch her podcast grow, and I am definitely inspired by her. I'll let her introduce herself, and we'll start diving into today's topic, which is around astrology, and we dive into angel numbers, tarot readings, message from the universe, all that jazz. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is so exciting. This is so weird.
I know.
I know. So we have a very special guest, you guys, today. We have Emma Kapotes with us.
Hey, guys.
And this will be my first time. If you guys are watching on YouTube, I'll actually have some video finally on the podcast, which is really exciting.
Yay.
So we're testing this out with Emma. She's the guinea pig today, but I've definitely learned a lot from her and from her podcast, Rave Culture Cast. So I will let her introduce herself.
Hi, guys. I'm so honored to be here. This is so exciting. I love this podcast. So my name is Emma Kapotes. I'm 29 years old. I'm from New Jersey, and I'm a content creator in the EDM and music festival space. I started out more on YouTube about 3 years ago, and then, it's just sort of grown since then, and now I have a podcast weekly on Wednesdays, sort of about the same thing, like music festivals and just rave culture in general. And I'm just completely obsessed with EDM, as is Aid.
We're deep in the festival and EDM space.
Yes, for sure.
I wanted to have Emma as my first guest because I was actually her first guest on her podcast, Rave Culture.
Yeah, girl.
I had to have kind of a full circle moment here, being on the other side, which is really fun. But Emma and I met. When do you think we started interacting with each other on social media?
That's a good question. I feel like it definitely has been over a year, right? Because it was before you went to Electric Forest last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably been a while.
Yeah. Wait, so you started Rave Culture Cast at the beginning of 2019?
In April. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost a year.
So then it had to have been 2018 sometime because
I think so.
it had to have been around there. But then we physically met at Imagine Music Festival. So we went to that festival together, which was a lot of fun.
Right.
But we had been talking for so long and become really close, which is fun.
Yeah.
And it's been fun watching. I was telling Emma, both of our brands just kind of grow and kind of take off. And then having people come to us and stuff has been really awesome. And that kind of taps into, I think, how we've been able to tune into manifesting this stuff kind of for us, but working hard for it and whatnot, which I'm really excited to kind of dive into that stuff today.
Sure.
So since you listen to the podcast, you know, I do a little vibe check at the start of the episodes, which is always really fun. So I did mine at the beginning of the episode, but we'll do one with Emma just to see how she's doing, check in, see how we're feeling. Crazy times going on right now.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'll have you do is, first off, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Today was a little bit of like a roller coaster of emotions. But I started off having like brunch with friends over Google Hangouts, so that was a good thing. Yeah.
Fun. Have you been handling quarantine well? How's it going? Being self-isolating and whatnot?
Yeah, so I was already working from home just like with my normal job. So I'm like a digital designer by trade. So working from home hasn't been a problem. I feel like it's getting to the point where I definitely like really miss just hanging out with friends and family. But I just also feel like really connected to people, and I feel like I'm just in touch more with my friends and everything like that, just because it feels good to check in with people right now. So it depends on the day. Some days are just starting to like blur into other days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's getting to be like a little boring, but you know, we're both super busy people, so I feel like we make the most of it.
Yeah. Has there been a favorite activity or thing that you've done or picked up since this all happened?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like I've still been just doing what I was doing before, like just so much filming and editing, and like I've just had more time to do like my side job or like side hustle. But I am still trying to like work out at home and take more walks outside and stuff like that. Just because I feel like if I get too off track, I'm just going to completely let go of everything.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
That's what I've been trying to do too. I've been trying to, well, the first thing I'm going to make a goal this week is to not check my phone until like 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. Because when I wake up at 5 a.m., I automatically check my phone and I just get completely derailed and sidetracked. So that's definitely, it's hard figuring out like a new routine and stuff, and taking walks outside is so important. It was cloudy like all last week in Austin and rainy. So it was hard to actually go outside. And then if the sun finally came out towards the end of the week, which was great.
Right.
Let's see. And then the other part to this is name 3 things you're grateful for today, just to get some gratitude going.
Oh, okay. Definitely grateful for my dog back here, Leo. He's visiting me for the weekend, and it's just been nice to like have like a dog in the house just to like hug and cuddle. I'm grateful for my boyfriend Brian, for putting up with my mood swings throughout this whole thing. And I would just say like I'm grateful for you as well. Like it's been so nice chatting with you like every day, and like having somebody else who like totally understands what's going on. So those would be my 3 things.
Oh, so sweet. I'm grateful for you.
Thanks, girl.
And the last one that I always do is an affirmation for today. But if you don't have like an affirmation or something that you want to affirm for yourself, you could do maybe a goal you have upcoming for this week or something.
Ooh, that's a good one. Maybe not an affirmation, but I would say a goal right now. I think like this tends to happen every weekend, but I sort of like maybe indulge a little too much. Like I had a couple cocktails this weekend. We baked some brownies, like definitely treated myself this weekend. So I feel like for the week, I kind of want to get back on like just when I eat healthier, I have a healthier mindset. Like the two just go in one, like hand in hand together for me. So right now I'm feeling like I want to wake up tomorrow and just like really treat my body well this week so that I can be a more productive person. So that's my goal.
Yeah, that's a good one. I feel that because I haven't bought any snacks to put in my apartment, so I'm doing good. But I did buy these chips that I love they're Green Hatch garlic chips from H-E-B, our grocery store here. And like if I open those up, I'll have them, they'll be done in one sitting. They're so good. Yeah. So I had those last weekend, and then I'm like, okay, we're done with the snacks during this quarantine, or else I'm like 50 pounds during this whole thing.
It's so, I got to watch what I'm like buying because I'm the one who actually does the shopping. So that's all on me.
Have you guys been stocking up, or are you guys still going to the grocery store every week?
I feel like we're pretty stocked up. Like if anything, maybe every like 7 or 8 days. Like I try not to go too often if I don't have to, but we like overbought in the very beginning and had too much food. So now I feel like we're at a good pace.
Yeah. Have your grocery stores been crazy?
There is a Trader Joe's around me, and then there's like a ShopRite near me. The ShopRite is always like a little bit, actually no, the Trader Joe's is probably like crazy. I once like it was last weekend, I drove in there and drove right out. Like there was a line of people and I was like, you know what, I can't do this. So it just totally depends, and people have been pretty much like keeping their distance from each other.
Yeah.
What about you?
I haven't gone to the grocery store in it'll be 2 weeks next Thursday. My mom called me and she freaked me out. She was like, I don't know what's going on, but do you have enough food for 2 weeks? And I'm like, no, I was going to go to the grocery store and probably get some. She's like, you need to go now. And I'm like, okay. So I went and got some for 2 weeks. And then I've also been like, I will treat myself on Friday to like eat out somewhere and like still support like a local restaurant or something. Just because I eat the same thing every single day that it gets pretty exhausting, and I'm like, I need something else. So that's also been helping. So I think I have enough for like maybe another week and a half probably. But my group chat with the girls that live in Austin have been pretty good about updating us which grocery stores are like crazy or go to. Yeah, because it's crazy here. And so I haven't gone in like a week and a half probably. And so I'm kind of dreading to go again, but we'll see. The first time I went 2 weeks ago, all my vegan stuff was practically out. The week that I found what I eat in a week, I had to buy a bunch of new stuff, which kind of worked out because I got to try different stuff, but I was kind of like freaked out. I was like, this is bad when all my vegan stuff is gone because it's always stocked.
Yeah. I feel like this stuff, I mean, for the most part, the last 2 times I went, that wasn't a problem. Like there was definitely like plenty of food. It just was like the whole friggin' toilet paper and paper towel aisle is just completely empty in ShopRite. I was like, still, like, why is this all still gone? I don't understand. So that's like the big thing, but we have enough. We didn't even buy any in the last month. We already had so much. We were like, this is ridiculous. We don't need more. Yeah, so we're surviving.
Yeah, we're doing our best out here.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so that was our little vibe check. Thanks for doing that, Emma. So next we're going to talk about astrology. And a lot of people, when I announced this podcast, wanted an episode about astrology or something with astrology. Awesome. So I think it will be a good opener to maybe other topics later down the line.
For sure.
My experience with astrology, I feel like I learned about it at a younger age, but the past like 2 years, I feel like I've gotten more into it. I don't know. Was that probably like similar for you, Emma?
I think so. Yeah. Like I don't have any like background knowledge. Like I definitely haven't read any books on it or done like major research. I sort of like always knew my sign very, very well. And then I don't know if it's like just talked about more in media or on podcasts I listen to, but I started hearing more about like other people's signs and like picking up on the traits of those. And then now I just follow so many accounts on like Twitter and Instagram. So I'm always like reading about all of them. And I just find it so interesting. And I personally believe in all of it. So I just like love it.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. There's just so many things where it's like, this just seems so right. And it just makes that it's hard to
Yep.
kind of ignore. I don't know. And a
I
lot of people
agree.
say like, well, that it's relatable to anyone. And I'm like, no, I don't think
Mm,
so. Some
right.
things can be a little weird. But so for
Mm-hmm.
those that don't know, I'm a Taurus sun, a Virgo moon, and a Capricorn rising. You can find out what your sign and all the other signs are by going to
Mm-hmm.
either CoStar, which is a really great app, or Astrology Cafe. You will need to know your birthday, time of birth, and place where you were born. And you'll put your
Mm-hmm.
name and everything, and then it'll pull up what your birth chart is. So I learned about that probably like 2 years ago, I want to say, it was around the time I moved to Austin because I was really bored. So
Mm-hmm.
I found my chart and everything, but I didn't really understand the moon, the rising, all that. I was like, what does this all mean? And then Emma, what's yours? You're Pisces sun, I remember.
Yeah, Pisces. And then, so I don't still understand the other two. I know a little bit, but I'm rising Cancer and Taurus moon.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
sort of learning what those two things mean.
Yeah.
But I
Well, now
think
that
it's
you have this
good.
time, you can look into it.
Yeah, exactly. I know. The CoStar app definitely. I think you showed me that, or somebody. I think it was you, but that helped a little because there is like a really nice explanation of those two like factors. I actually Cancer was one of the signs that I knew like nothing about. Now I understand a little bit more, but there's just certain ones in the spectrum that I still am like I don't remember what the traits are or anything like that.
So being a Pisces sun, do you think that you relate to that sign a lot?
1000%. 100%. Yeah. I think I'm on like I'm February 21st. I could be wrong. I think Pisces starts the 19th. So I'm pretty like close to Aquarius as well. But yeah, no, Pisces are like very, very, I think it's the last sign in the zodiac. So they
Yeah.
say that like Pisces sort of can represent like a lot of all of them. But they're also like a fish. So a lot of me is like very like go with the flow, very creative, very emotional, sensitive, romantic, caring. Those are all the good things. Well, emotional could go either way. But then I've heard like we're too like up in the clouds and imaginative and like sometimes not as realistic or grounded, and like I can definitely be very, very emotional and sensitive sometimes.
And then
But and they say fish are like skittish too. So I've heard people say like sometimes like they can be easily scared or they can be too trusting, things like that, or like more on like the negative side, I guess you would say.
yeah. Um,
Yep.
and then with your Cancer rising, so I know Cancers because my ex was a Cancer.
Okay.
Ryan's Cancer, and then I have a couple other friends that are Cancers. So it's also interesting because you talk about your emotions and stuff, and Cancers are
Mm,
like hard shell because they're a crab, so they're a hard
right.
shell exterior, but then they're like all up in their feels and emotions and everything like that.
Yeah, very true.
So having like your Pisces and your Cancer like kind of balance out. And then you
Hmm.
have your Taurus moon, which is, I think your moon is supposed to be like your emotions, moods, and feelings, which
Hmm.
I think I read it in the app what that meant, but
I was gonna say, should I pull this up to
yeah, you
for
can
this
pull
to
it.
make more sense? Yeah, the Cancer one was always tricky, but I thought the same thing because I knew it was the crab. So I knew it was like you have a harder exterior, but they're really, really like sensitive
Yeah.
internally. Oh, it says with your rising sign in Cancer, you can sort of mask how you present yourself to people. Um, what else? You can come across as gentle, intuitive, warm. Some might regard you as overly emotional or sensitive to criticism. That could be accurate. Where's the moon in Taurus? And you're a Taurus. I wonder like if you have a certain sign in either like your sun, your rising, or your moon, and then like a friend or somebody close to you also has that sign. I wonder if that means that you get along like better or something like that.
Yeah, I was looking. So if you have you looked in the app that you can
Oh,
like
right.
click on a person and you're able to see your guys' compatibility?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, for Emma and I, our compatibility between our basic identities, which is our sun signs,
Mm.
are positive, is a positive thing. Our moods and emotions, we're on the same level. Intellect and communication is on the same level. Sex and aggression, philosophies of life. And then the only two areas where we might have disagreements is love and pleasure and senses of responsibility.
Interesting. Okay. I love how they do the compatibility stuff. That's
yeah.
so cool.
You put Brian in a compatibility thing at all with your guys'
I
sign?
wanted him to sign up for the app and he didn't, but I did look it up one time. So he's a Capricorn, which before dating him, that was one of the signs I had no idea about. But Capricorns actually are like, he's a December baby. They're like the most stable and like hardworking and driven signs, which is him to a T. Like he is very like involved in his work. He's a leader. He is focused on like our bills, our future, building things. Like, so it's kind of the perfect balance because he is so patient and level-headed, and I'm just like all over the place, emotions, like very imaginative. So he's good. He keeps me grounded.
Yeah, that earth sign energy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I know the earth signs are great. I love earth signs, but it says the moon in Taurus, which also makes a lot of sense, says your emotional self is very romantic and sentimental. You're deeply loyal to people you care about and try hard to maintain security and stability with those relationships. You often feel powerless to fix messy situations, but your way of thinking through those things is sensible and practical, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I would say that's accurate.
Yeah, accurate.
Yeah.
Mine is, so Taurus sun. I feel like, so I have a Taurus sun, Virgo moon, and Capricorn rising. They're all earth signs, which I feel like means
that's
something,
crazy. That's
but
crazy.
I've never been able to find anything on it. And I like want to like ask an astrologer or something. I was like, does this mean something having like all three earth signs?
Right.
So yeah, but mine basically just makes me sound like I'm very stable, conservative, practical, like having all three of those together.
Right.
Which I think is interesting. And I think I do relate to my rising sign a lot more. Being the rational side, like what you were talking about with Brian is literally me to a T too. Because I'm Capricorn rising, but then like the Taurus also makes sense. I don't like that people automatically think I'm stubborn, but I kind of can be when I like really, I really believe in something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And another quality is that we're reliable, which I think is also like a good trait of mine. Some of the other ones that I don't agree with is that they call Tauruses lazy sometimes, and that we really love food, which is, I love food, but like some of the memes are like, oh, like Tauruses would rather just stay home and like eat food, or like they'll make up excuses not to go out, which is like true. I do that from time to time.
Aww. But you must be so, I was gonna say, like, you're just like the most down to earth and grounded because you have so many fucking earth signs in you. That's crazy. Yeah. What time were you born?
I was born at 12:03 a.m.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if that like affects stuff too, because I that's like the hardest part about doing all this. Everyone, like, unless your parents know, which they probably should know, but if they don't, like, you need that factor to like figure out all this stuff.
Yeah. What was it? I was doing, there's this other website. It was like a self-care birth chart reading or whatever. And I just input my info in, and I put 12:03 and I put all my stuff, and it came back that I was a Leo rising and not a Capricorn rising. And I like thought my whole world was going to collapse.
Yeah, that's so different.
I have a Leo like sign in me somewhere, because I just don't relate to fire sign like Leos or anything. No hate to Leos, but like no qualities really match. And so I ended up doing my birth chart on like CoStar and like everywhere else. I'm like, okay, this website is whack. Like, but it's so just funny. Any of the like that time changes what your chart looks like.
That does make a lot of sense though, that you have Capricorn though. Like, I feel like you kind of embody all three of yours for sure, because you definitely are so like goal oriented and things like that are like important to you. So I could see, what was your other one? What was your rising?
Capricorn rising and then a
Oh, it
Virgo
is.
moon.
Virgo moon. Okay. See, the Virgo is the one. That's one I don't think I know that. Is that the twins or that's Gemini, right? The twins are
That's
Gemini, I
Gemini.
think.
Virgo's
Yeah.
the Virgin, so it's usually like a woman, like
Okay.
symbol, I think is what their symbol kind of
Yes,
looks like.
there's certain ones that I like don't fully remember.
The maiden. Yeah.
And did we talk about too? I don't know if I'm skipping ahead. Like, do you have certain, do you know your friend signs and like, do you have certain groups of friends that are certain signs?
You literally read my mind because I was going to ask you that. Because we're
I'm
on the
also
same.
psychic, guys.
Yeah. This is just how it is with Emma and I. We're always just on the same wave. For some
Yeah.
reason, it's so crazy. So yeah, I was talking about this with a friend. My crazy time of year for birthdays is December, which is like Capricorns, and then to January, which is Aquarius's. And then I have a couple in February, like your birthday, and my dad's birthday is in February for Pisces. A lot of Aries, and then a lot of Tauruses. So like from December to like May, I'm just like always having birthdays going on, which I think is really crazy.
Right.
And then I kind of have a period where I'll just have like one-offs between friends and stuff. I want to say. What about you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was trying to think of that before this, like if I had a lot of like a certain type of person, but I just know I read at one point that like Pisces gets along with Scorpios really well, which I feel like a lot of people always like shit on Scorpios because they say like they're also like hard to get along with. But my little in my sorority, who's like my best friend, is a Scorpio, and I think there was somebody else that I knew. So I get along with Scorpios. My other best friend is a Libra, and she has co-star as well. And I remember when we were going to Electric Zoo, we were like killing time on the ferry to get over there. So we were looking up our compatibility, and she and I actually aren't as compatible. And it made a lot of sense though. Like we are both very loyal and I like love her to death, but I think it was like the way we communicate is the complete opposite, and we like value things differently there. And it's so true. Like I think Libras are way more like very practical and realistic. So she can be more like dry, and she'll call herself like emotionless sometimes, and I'm the total opposite. So when we approach a situation, she'll be like, I'll be overly sensitive and she won't be emotional at all, and that's where we'll have like issues communicating. So it's kind of good just to understand these things about each other, because then you know how to like work it out. So it's kind of good that we're both into like astrological signs. So we know that.
That's funny because my dad's a Pisces and my mom's a Scorpio, but I'm also the rest of their chart. I haven't done my parents' charts. I wonder if I could do that. I'm gonna ask them.
Yeah, I don't know what mine are now. No, my dad's probably a Capricorn. I think my mom might be a Gemini. She's June, or no, I don't know. She's late June.
Late June.
It's so funny.
Might be Gemini or Cancer.
Okay. Well, it's also interesting with romantic relationships because I'm pretty sure I dated 2 Geminis and both of those did not end well. And I was like, I'm never dating a Gemini ever again.
Did you see any patterns with people you've dated?
Just the 2 people I like noticed. But it was like my high school boyfriend that was like my first like serious relationship. And he was a Gemini. And like one thing about Gemini is like they are the twins. So you never know which like side you're going to get of somebody. And they can also like present one thing to you, but then not tell you how they're really feeling. And that was very much the case.
Yeah. I think I've mainly been with Capricorns and Cancers, I want to say. And then my first relationship, he was a Libra, which like I don't know too much about Libras now because I don't really have that many Libra friends, I feel like. And then the guy I did go on a date with, which I mentioned in the other podcast episode, he was a Virgo, and I don't know too much about Virgo men either, so it's all been very interesting.
Yeah, I know, like looking stuff up afterwards.
I was out at this show, and this guy he was 21, and he was just like talking to me, trying to hit on me, and then he told me he was a Gemini, and I was like, oh. 21 and a Gemini. I don't think this is gonna work.
That's so funny. I know. It's like when you're into this stuff, you kind of can't ignore it and like maybe wouldn't ask anything like that on a date, but just pocket that information in the back of your head.
Yeah, exactly. You like told me that and I was like, oh, it's okay.
Right.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You're like, nah. No, but that's like pretty much all the relationships. I do have friends who are Pisces, and I feel like we just get along pretty well as well. But I can't think of any others that I like butt heads with. I just knew that my best friend and I had difference in communicating.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's always so funny going through the CoStar app and I'll just like read through all of like my friends and be like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Like my friend Lester, who's gay, he like we were talking about how like our sexual aggression is just so intense and I'm like
that's amazing.
Like, that will never happen, but it's so funny. We like joke about it all the time that we have this sexual tension going on.
Well, that definitely is that like interesting, like when you think about actual like partners and stuff like that. Like some people obviously don't believe in it at all and don't think that it makes any difference, but like obviously us who like we look into the signs, like I think that it could make a lot of sense if you're not like compatible in that way, like physically, but also mentally. I think it like is interesting to see like what signs sort of balance, because I couldn't imagine dating a Pisces. Like that would probably be the most emotional fucking roller coaster ever.
Yeah. Surprisingly, Tauruses and other Tauruses have compatibility, but I can't figure that out because we would both be stubborn about certain like different things. I don't know. It would be interesting to see, but I don't really have too many Taurus guy friends, I don't think.
I loved when you did the signs as music festivals, because wasn't Taurus Electric Forest? It was, right? I was gonna say that it makes so much sense because when you did that pairing, I was like, yep, that I could totally see that as Electric Forest.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, I did a little fun thing of like if the zodiac signs were music festivals. It's up on my YouTube channel. I think I have it on my Instagram and my IGTV. I just got really bored and just threw that together, and I think it got pretty well perceived, except for Coachella. I put with Leos, and Leos were pretty upset by that. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick.
It did. Your explanation, though, did make sense. It's just people weren't reading the blog post. They were just seeing why they got all butthurt about it.
So I have it on my website, too, which you guys can go check out. Here it is. So
Leo is another one, though. My dog here. Leo is definitely another one. I don't think I have. I'd have to think about it. I don't think I have any Leo friends.
Yeah, they're just out there. Like, it was so funny because people were like, oh, I could never be Coachella. Like, I love fashion. I love art. Like, and then, like, people would come back being like, you literally just described Coachella. Like,
right. Yeah.
All about you kind of thing. So I had Lost Lands for Aries because fire sign. Just needed something like that. We did Electric Forest for Taurus because down to earth. Lightning in a Bottle. We put Gemini under because it's a transformational type of festival. So it kind of has that duality part of like music, but then having all these seminars and stuff like that. We did EDC for Cancers because Cancers are also really well known for being like nurturing and loving and like caring. So we thought like Plur and everything, why not be EDC? And then Coachella, Leos, because they're just out there and it's all about them.
I think that makes sense.
We did Paradiso, RIP, for Virgos because of the gorge, because of the like nature setting. And then Tomorrowland we did for Libra because Libras, I guess, have also a quality that makes them very sociable with like any type of person, and they're open to communicating and meeting anyone, which Tomorrowland is, you know, one of the biggest music festivals in the country where a bunch of people are coming from, or in the world, where a bunch of people are coming from different countries. And then this one was funny. I did Freaky Deaky for Scorpio.
It's 444. Sorry.
Oh my
My
God.
phone just popped up and I was like, oh my God.
I had 333 earlier. Like as we were recording, I didn't say anything.
That's so crazy.
And then we did
Real people
for Scorpio, and then Burning Man for Sagittarius, Holy Ship Capricorn, Shambhala Aquarius, and then Bonnaroo Pisces, which you haven't been to Bonnaroo.
No, not yet.
But I don't really remember why I picked that one. I'd probably change that one now that a little bit more. It was funny. Brit's Blossom did her little like the Brit's Blossoms as like zodiac signs or whatever.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And it was so funny. I like was able to do that so quickly because I learned so much, and I like had put it together for her, and she was like, "Oh, her friend was saying like this one. I think it was like the black ears needed to go under someone else," and I was like, "No, that's like Capricorn." Like, it's funny. Like since I've done this, I've learned so much, and it's so interesting.
Yeah, I love all this stuff. I think I think it's so interesting. I think reading like I like to do weekly horoscopes rather than daily, just because like I don't know. There's some part of it that it's like if you read it, do you sort of like self prophesize or like whatever? You know what I mean? Like, am I going to read something and then my day is going to be affected by it? I'm going to think about it and then do things because I read something. So sometimes I just like to read a monthly recap or a weekly recap so I can sort of know what might be on the horizons without trying to focus on it too much and like change the course of my week.
For YouTube, we like, what's her name? Practical Star Girl Witch or something?
Yeah, Star Girl the Practical Witch. She's good.
Yeah, she's another one.
I just followed a bunch because I just started watching the like tarot readings and monthly predictions within the last like month and a half, I think.
You had sent me that other girl.
Yeah, there's a few I like now. It's crazy. It's just like, it's interesting to hear it. Some people might believe it, some might not. Some of them you like, they put these different like gems or crystals on, and like whatever one you're drawn to, that's the pile you go with. And then that's like your reading. Other ones, it's based on like your rising or your sun sign.
Oh yeah, it was, I really liked this girl. I want to check her out more. I
think I know who you're thinking about. Okay, yeah. The other one I like. Some of them are just so fun. I love. Now I'm like on a spiral listening to all of them.
Guys, if you're bored, just go down the Astro Zodiac YouTube community rabbit hole.
Crazy. It's a whole community I didn't even know existed until like a month and a half ago, and now like these people, you find them, they have like 900,000 followers. I'm like, God damn. Yeah, it's like a whole nother thing. Yeah.
It's a whole other side. So that also gives kind of a good segue into 444, repeating numbers, angel numbers.
Yeah.
So I have always seen 444 since I was a little kid. I didn't know what an angel number was probably until maybe last year, I want to say. And then I think I turned you onto those, right? Yeah. So, I've seen 444, and basically what an angel number is that when you're kind of like tuned into whatever's going on in your life, you might be getting messages from an angel, from the universe, whatever it may be, and it comes in the form of a number, or it can be some type of synchronicity or something like that. So I saw 444 for a lot of the time when I was growing up. And then it wasn't until about like maybe the past 2 years that I've really been paying attention. And that's when they say that you normally like see these kinds of things, is when you're like surrendering to whatever, paying attention to whatever, what's going on around you and everything like that, paying attention to what's going on with yourself, which I think is very true, because I feel like the past year and a half, I've just been on this whole journey, spiritual journey or whatever, of just being more self-aware and stuff. And so, yeah, I've noticed like 1111, and then I usually, what I'll do is that if I see a random, like a repeat number, I'll Google it and just see what the message is. I don't read too much into it, but it's kind of nice to read into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And like 444 typically means like you're on the right path. It's like a good type of sign to get. And then lately there was times where I was getting 555, and it was usually when I was thinking about something with the past, which I thought was interesting. And that one usually says, like, don't look back to the past, keep moving forward. And it's very interesting because around the time I would see that was around the time I was thinking about my ex or thinking about something in the past. And weird. I like, yeah, it's weird. And then sometimes you get 222, which kind of means to just like slow down and rest.
Okay.
1111 is another good one where it just means like you're on the right path. And then lately I've been getting 333, which means that there's like a spiritual awakening going on, which like freaks me out because it's true. There's like something going on with me that I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Just having like, realization stuff. And then Emma, you've seen like a bunch too, and we like probably see them every day. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. I do you said a lot of like things that I definitely like would say like the exact, like I feel the exact same way about them. I think it is when you are starting to like feel more in tune with yourself and pay attention, because obviously like everybody's so busy, you have a million things going on, you may just not notice, which is like they say like sometimes if you meet a partner, like you might have met them before and like not remembered because you weren't paying attention, they were in front of you this whole time. And it's the same sort of thing. Like I think you and I both have just been for the past year working on so many things, working on ourselves, and we're just like very much paying attention to like any sort of sign from like a higher power, whatever the hell you want to call it. And so yeah, when you told me about that, I was like, wait, that's so weird. I've been seeing these like numbers all the time. And then you told me the different meanings about them, and that's when I started like looking into it. And now multiple times a day, every day, we send each other like Snapchats of like the numbers everywhere in the weirdest places. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And we're not talking about just like on our clocks, like, oh, we look at the phone.
No.
And, like, it's like on our phone. It's like I looked up a color code to like a brand the other day, and like the color code was 6 4s, and I was like, what in the world? And then there's other ones where like maybe it might be likes on a photo or like views on something, or I'm trying to think what other instances we've had. I've seen
I was writing them down because there were so many.
Yeah. There was a time where I was walking back from dinner with friends, and on the building we walked past, on the sign, the building, like I guess their building number was 444, and I was like, oh, 444, nice. So it's like random things like that. It's so crazy.
Do you remember when you stopped your stopwatch or your phone? That was the scariest one ever.
What was that, 5s or 4s? I can't remember.
No, it was literally all 4s. You like left your timer on and hit stop, and it was like stop. No, you didn't even hit stop. It was stopped, wasn't it?
Yeah, I hit stop.
Okay.
Pretty sure I have the screenshot still that I sent.
It was, yeah, you guys, like it's not just the clock, it's the craziest shit, and it just keeps getting weirder. Like even Brian I tell my boyfriend, yeah, like what the hell is that? It's definitely a sign. Like I believe that all of these are like signs and synchronicities. But we were in the car one time recently, and we go to get out of the car, and he points to the gas meter, and the gas meter was 5555555. I was like, what the fuck? And then I woke up one night, I told you about this next day, I woke up one night, look at the clock, it's 5:55 in the morning, and that just freaked me out so much.
Yeah.
And then the other day we were talking about like festivals in the fall, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I should go to this. Like, let me just look up how much the cost is to fly to like this state. And all the prices of the flight were $222. I was like, well, guess it means I'm supposed to go to this festival.
Yeah. Wasn't there also one with Brian's car, or Brian got into your car or something like that?
That might have been that was the gas. Like the meter. Yeah. He got in the car and he was like, did you look at this number? Because now he's noticing it too. So there's just been so many weird, and like the numbers of likes, like I've been on TikTok scrolling and I like go to like something and there's 222,000 likes on it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I guess I get 222 a lot, and 555.
I need to look it up, but I got 888 like 2 days ago or something, and 777. I don't get 7s or 8s really ever, so I need to go look those up.
I get 1111 a lot,
Yeah,
like
11,
very regularly. Yeah, I love that one though. I still make a wish.
yeah.
I still do. I think that's a cute one though. I forget what 1111. Isn't it also like your loved something about like your loved ones too?
Yeah, I think that one. Or
Is
1111
that
signifies that an energetic gateway has opened up for you, and this will rapidly manifest your thoughts into your reality.
interesting? Because that's like a whole nother thing you could think about, like obviously your angel numbers or your spirit guides, like whatever you want to call it. Like I'm very in touch with not necessarily paranormal, but I've had a lot of three of my grandparents have passed, my aunt has passed. So I have a lot of people like very close to me that I still feel like are always with me all the time. I have a really freaky dream I could tell you
Oh my God.
about but no, I've just always felt like not psychic, but one feature of a Pisces are they're extremely intuitive, like very intuitive. My gut about people, about situations is like always right. So I've learned as I've gotten older, yeah, to listen to it. Cause when I was younger and an idiot, like I would do whatever. And then as I got older, I was like, yeah, you should have paid attention to the people that made you feel uncomfortable or the situations that weren't right for you. And now I know that. But yeah, I just feel very like in tune. And so I have a tattoo on the back of my arm. It's very hard to read, but it says "Say a Prayer," which is like what my grandpa always like used to say about like everything. And it's written on his tombstone, "Say a prayer." So one time in my apartment in Hoboken, I had a dream, and my old bed, like the frame was their old bed frame, my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a dream that I was like in my bedroom at home, and like sitting in front of me on my bed was my boyfriend, my mom, and my grandma. And they were all like holding hands with each other. And they told me, and I like looked down on my lap and I had a pregnancy test and it said pregnant. And then they didn't say anything to me, but they told me I was going to have a girl. So Brian and I are convinced we're going to have a girl first. So if that happens, y'all, they knew it. It was really weird. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the second part of my dream, which like I woke up in fucking hysterics, like sobbing. I was like walking arm in arm with my grandpa, who like, you know, when they get older, obviously it's like hard to walk, they're not as healthy, and they say that when your grandparents or loved ones visit you in your dreams, you usually remember them as like their healthier selves. You don't remember them like sickly. So yeah, he was like totally healthy, and we were walking like arm in arm, and he started patting me on the arm, and he was like, I know you got that for me. Like I say a prayer for you every day. And like he knew all about my tattoo. It was so fucking weird because he wasn't alive when I got it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He like told me he knew I have it and was like, I'm on your arm every day. Oh yeah. And I woke up like in hysterics. It was so weird.
Oh my
God. So that's my story. I wrote it down. It was like March 2018, I think that happened.
That's crazy. And then more recently, you had some type of paranormal thing happen, right?
Yeah. So with all these like tarot card readings, like YouTube videos I've been watching and stuff like that, a lot of them were saying that in March, if I was open to it, I would be getting way more signs and like would be feeling more of like more spiritually connected. And I was like, yeah, I'm always open to that stuff. So I was literally watching a video. It was like, what are your deceased loved ones wanting to tell you? And then later on, I sat down to film some YouTube videos, and I go to edit it the next day. And this has never happened in any of my YouTube videos. I'm editing, and there are all these like orbs all over the film in like the first few minutes of it. And like they are very clearly just orbs of light just coming out of nowhere, disappearing. And I was like, chills all over my body. I sent it to my parents and my family, and they were like, holy shit. So it's on YouTube now. You can see the video. It's crazy.
Yeah, you sent me Snapchats of that or a video of that, and I was like freaked out. But I didn't realize that you had seen the video beforehand. So for those that don't know, you can do like tarot reading cards or card pulls through YouTube. It's very interesting. I had no idea that those types of videos existed. I got my first tarot reading in person in 2017, I want to say. It was like when I moved to Austin, or it was at the beginning of 2018. And for those that don't know, tarot is basically just like, what's the best way to describe it? It's a deck of cards, and you have people that read cards to you, and they'll put your energy towards the cards and everything. And it might pull up anything that you might be questioning in your life, anything you're looking for an answer to. The person's just basically delivering this message for you. So that's like another thing that we could get into a whole other episode on, basically.
They're
But
so cool.
for Emma and I, we watch these tarot card pull videos where you'll channel your energy into whatever deck that is drawing the most attention to you, basically, whatever one you're feeling most guided to. And they'll do like a whole reading for you. It's pretty broad, but there are some truths I feel like that come out of that, but you're depending on what you're looking for, right?
Right.
Have you gotten an in-person tarot reading?
I know, I was trying to think about that because Maria Chubby Wubby just did one for me, but she just sent like a list of things.
Okay.
I did it with my like high school boyfriend. Somebody at like a graduation party had a tarot reading. And looking back on it, I don't think it was a good reading. Like she said, I specifically remember she pulled the moon card, which I gather like is not the best. And she was like, you guys are going to have a difference in the pace of this relationship. One of you is a little further ahead than the other. And it was so true. So it was really weird. That's the only time. But what did you do? Like, what made you want to do that in 2017?
It was at the start of 2018, and I think it was like a new year, and I think that was probably like because I had just moved to Austin a couple months before, so I was still kind of getting my footing and everything, and I was like, yeah, like let's see what she has to say. And this was also like maybe 6 months into Vibe with AIDS, so her whole reading was basically like, stick on the path that you're going, like things are going well. And like I really resonated with that with Vibe with AIDS stuff, and that there's also parts to it about like having balance, right? And so making sure that I take care of myself, which is like always a constant theme with me, is taking care of myself so that I can help others. And it's interesting because the reading that I texted you about that I just got done on Friday had very similar themes again of like, you need to take care of yourself right now. That way you can keep on helping others. Because I appear to be like a natural born leader, and I help a lot of people, but I can't pour from like an empty cup and stuff. So that was my most recent one, but it's interesting knowing what I got back then and seeing those themes come up again, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then I've also gotten a reading done from Maria Chubby Wubby, and that was what my 2020 is going to look like, which I need to go. I always read it at the beginning and end of the month just to like see where we're at. And obviously things have changed a little bit probably with her reading, given that we didn't know a pandemic was going to happen.
I was going to say.
So it'll be interesting to see how her reading might change or anything like that. But at first I was like really relating to it. Like she didn't call that I was going to get broken up with or get into a car accident in January, but like she projected that there was going to be some like struggle of some sort, and that I needed to like, I forgot what the card was, but I think it was like 5 of Cups or something, or 3 of Cups or something, where the picture is of a man with cups at his feet, and like half of the cups are spilt, and then the other one full, and then he has a bridge in the background. So basically it means like you're going to go through some stuff, but rather like look at it that you still have these cups full and then continue to cross the bridge and keep going, kind of thing. And that was like freaky to me when I read that back at the end of January, because I was like, oh my God, like at the start of the year, I had no idea that this was going to happen. So it's all so interesting.
It is. And it's also like mindset, because I think the Cups card, that's like the interesting thing, is like some of the decks can be different for all the people, but usually they have in common like these certain symbols and stuff. And I'm pretty sure the cups represent like your emotional side, and like all of this is mindset too, because obviously some people who say this is like a crock of shit, it just depends on like how you relate it to your life. Everything they say may not apply to just you. It might apply to like a couple of people, but at the same time, like it's just the way you really like think of things, and like you can't freak yourself out too much either. But yeah, like in that scenario, you can like dwell on what's going bad, or you can like restructure how you're going to think about things and like try and focus, because none of them are like doom and gloom. They're all like, okay, this is something you should watch out for, but like all these other good things are going for you, so like you're going to be fine in the end. It just depends on how you react to all these situations.
Yeah, exactly. And when we talk about this, we're not saying like, oh, they're going to be like a fortune teller. They're going to tell you like you're going to win the lottery or anything. They're literally just pulling the cards as it is and then telling you what that messaging might mean for you. And then you're supposed to kind of draw your own reasoning from that or any takeaways from that, which I think is interesting. I think that's where what people get really skeptical about is that because it's become in like TV or like movies and stuff where it's this fortune teller person where it's really, they're going to tell you these outlandish things, or they're going to know all about you. And really it's just delivering whatever message you might need to hear or something. And again, it's all your mindset and being open to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And like, you see things that, cause yeah, exactly. Like not a single one of them predicted that a pandemic was going to happen in the March readings. No one said like, oh, all of this is about to be disrupted. Like they didn't predict that. They sort of like showed you what was going to happen. So like, for example, mine was I think yours was similar. They were talking a lot about prosperity in March, and they were like, your finances will be good. And like, there's going to be all these opportunities. So it was good, very good career wise. And then this happened. And I was like, well, festivals are out the window. Like, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to create content? Doesn't make sense anymore. But weirdly enough, like some doors have still opened, and there still have been some like really cool things that have happened. And like, because I'm not spending all this money on festivals and flights, my finances are in a good spot, which I didn't think about. Yeah. And then I got to interview like an artist on my podcast, which like happened because these artists have all this time now because they're not doing shows. Like, I don't think that would have happened if we didn't have a pandemic right now. So like, weirdly enough, it was still accurate, even though she didn't predict like there was going to be a coronavirus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mine, I think, was about something with like, it definitely went in tune with me going home to Arizona. Like me going home to Arizona and going across was definitely like a pivotal change, I think, in like my healing, like the breakup and like everything that's happened. And like, I came back feeling refreshed. And I think she also talked about like having more vulnerability and being open to certain things, but I can't remember what else there really was. It wasn't really anything that was tied to my career, I don't think. There might have been some career stuff, but again, like no mention of a pandemic.
Exactly. Yeah. I know. And you never know, like some months are going to be better for your job, some months for relationships, some for yourself. So you can't like have things popping off all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that gives us a good place to leave off. If you were to tell someone that was maybe interested in like learning a little bit more about this, how do you think is like the best approach to kind of dive more into astrology or tarot or synchronicities, whatever it may be?
I definitely would download the CoStar app. Like that gave me a better understanding of like my sign and then the rising sign and the moon, because I really didn't know that at all until I plugged everything into that app. And I like every day if you have your notifications turned on, like it gives you sort of like a daily reading, and usually they're like a fun thing to read. Sometimes they don't make sense, but that's a good place to start just to understand like your sign better. And then YouTube, I just search like April predictions or April tarot reading, whatever the month is coming up. And there's like a few people like we mentioned, and just feel out whose personalities you like. That's what I've been doing. I've watched a few people and some of them I like their personalities more than others. And then some have just been so accurate with their readings. Like some of them I follow, it's weird. They don't even show their face. They just do their hands and it's like a deck reading. And I still liked them because they were so accurate. So it just depends on what you think you're into. Yeah.
Yeah. Another good one, if you're not really into astrology, but you want to learn more about like timing of your life and stuff, the pattern, which I showed you, that one is technically based on your chart, but they don't make it about the zodiac really. Because you still input your time of birth and your birthplace as well on that app, which
Mhm.
I've been finding that one. We didn't really talk about that one, but that one is another good one. And I think YouTube is definitely a great place to kind of dip your toes in if you're interested. But this was
They
so
also
fun.
have, I was going to say too, it's definitely not from Elle magazine, but I've just been reading it for so long. So I'm going to go look up like who they actually pull it from. But if you do, I think it's like Elle.com, they have a horoscope section. I've been reading it for years. It's a very lengthy monthly horoscope. And then, like I said, I read the weekly one because it also is like pretty lengthy. So I don't know why. I just like absolutely love that one. They give like a lot of information. But yeah, no, that's everything.
I have to check that one
Yeah.
out. I do Refinery 29. I
Yeah, that
read
one's
there.
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, this was so fun.
I
Thanks for
love this guy.
joining.
Now you know how obsessed we are with all this stuff.
I know we just outed ourselves.
It is
No,
crazy
it was
though.
fun. We can talk about festivals like all the time. I think it's fun to kind of
Mm-hmm.
talk about something else. And that was kind of my goal with Let's Vibe is like, okay, I have so much festival content literally out
Mm-hmm.
there. And like, as well as I want to have that content on the podcast, but I want to talk about other stuff and like
Yeah.
getting to chill and talk about astrology and talk about our love for it and the weird shit that happens to us.
Yes,
With
seriously.
all these
It is.
numbers.
It's so interesting. And now you guys like I hope that you listen to this and now go pay attention because if some of you start to see signs, like DM us and let us know.
Yeah, tag us on Instagram.
Yeah,
And
seriously,
let us
because it's
know what
crazy.
numbers you're seeing. It'd be so fun.
Yep.
But no, this was so fun. Thanks for joining again. If you want to plug where people can find you.
Yeah, of course. No, thank you so much for having me. I'm at Emma Kapotes on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok now. And then also just youtube.com/Emma Kapotes for all that fun stuff. And Rave Culture Podcast on Wednesdays.
Yes,
Those are all
go
the
check
things.
it out. We've been having so many fun guests. I was so proud of you having Gesture. I was like,
Oh, thank you. He was really
soon
cool.
enough, it'll be Pasquale. Soon enough.
Oh man, I know somebody said that. I was like, I think he has enough things going on right now to focus on, but sure.
I know.
One day.
You could try and slide into those DMs again. Like, hey, we FaceTime that one time.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see where this podcast goes. It's been awesome. It makes my Monday mornings better.
Oh, thank you so much. All
Thanks,
right,
girl.
bye, girl.
Bye.
Thank you so much to Emma for hopping on today's podcast episode. It was so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it and getting to know a little bit more about us. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast to discuss other things I'm passionate about. You know, I've been doing this for over 2 years now, and while I love talking about music festivals and EDM, I could talk your ear off all day about it. It is really fun to talk about other things from time to time, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys go check out Emma's podcast as she's celebrating her 1 year of Rave Culture Cast on Wednesday. Again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you are on Apple Podcasts, send this to a friend today, as well as tag me on Instagram where you're listening from. I love you guys and appreciate all the support so much from the bottom of my heart. And also, please send any questions you have about health and fitness journeys that you might have to Let's Vibe podcast at vibewith8.com or shoot me a DM on Instagram or Twitter. That's what we'll be talking about in next week's episode, and I'm really ready to talk about that. I hope you guys have an awesome week, and remember to stay vibey, Vibe Tribe. Bye!